Hello, hello, mamas. Welcome back to another awesome episode of the Mama Work It podcast. As always, I am so glad you're here. My name is Marissa Lonick. I am your host, working mama of 4 kiddos, and the founder of Mama Work It, where we support women in the juggle of mom life, work life, wife life, fill in the blank life. I am excited, as always, when we have a guest on the show, but today I'm extra excited for this topic. We have Ashley Ayala. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist for 15 years, digital creator, and founder of The Modern Parent, which is a platform dedicated to helping parents break cycles, build emotional intelligence, and raise children with connection and confidence. Through relatable content, professional insight, and real life parenting moments, she supports families in understanding child behavior, nervous system regulation, healing family dynamics, and practical tools for everyday parenting. Blending clinical expertise with warmth and authenticity, Ashley has built a trusted online community where modern parenting meets mental health, growth, and compassion. Ashley, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me this morning.
All right, well, let's get started. Please tell us your story. What first led you to focus your work on intergenerational patterns, conscious parenting? I want to know the backstory here.
So I am a licensed therapist, and when I first started working in the field, I started in school-based therapy in elementary schools. I did end up going to high schools as well, quickly turned back around to my little ones. But one thing I noticed in the first year was how vital it was to get the parents involved in the work. And so I started each year, I would set new goals for myself. And I started, trying to get dads involved a little more. Doing one of the next years, I would do like more family therapy sessions. And as I started doing that, I really saw how parents were such a vital puzzle piece to their children's support. And I did that for probably 9 years. And then, of course, COVID came in 2020 and everything went virtual. So I started moving away from the little ones to adults and parents and individuals, both couples and all of that. But in that piece of the work, I also really got to work with parents one-on-one and over an extended amount of time. And I also noticed that there was so much on the parents and so much of what they were unlearning or what their upbringing was like that really played into how they showed up and supported their kids. So it was really cool to see how just on the spectrum from like going back a couple generations, how it's so present today. And I really love being able to bridge that kind of work in my own private practice.
Yeah. So you started this before becoming a parent, but realized even at that point how critical the parent role was in working with these kids. And then you became a parent. Did anything change when you entered motherhood with how you were showing up at work and kind of how you were able to maybe identify or relate to some of these clients in a way?
Oh, absolutely. It really just gave me a lot more grace working with the parents. Granted, not that I didn't have it before, but it just really softened the edges a lot. A lot of the work I do is, especially as a therapist, is you create this really safe, judgment-free zone where someone could come in and just unload like the thoughts that are so tricky to say out loud, especially in parenting. We have all these thoughts that are hard to share with even our close friends, and to be able to really have that space, but also support them through it without it being, me, of course, disclosing and doing too much there, but being able to say, hey, like, I get it. I know, like, some days are just like that. Some days, we don't always like how our kiddos are showing up and like how we're showing up, and being able to really have that laced throughout our sessions, I think is a very it's a very unique place to feel like you're supported and someone gets it. So not only integrating the, you know, the developmental stages and what's coming up for the parent, but also to be like, look, today was just like such a crappy day and that's okay. Let's just try again tomorrow and let it go. Sometimes that approach can be just as efficient too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine, I know you're there as the expert, the therapist, but like, I imagine it makes you feel a little bit less alone in hearing from all these other parents too, that like, oh, it's not just me.
Absolutely. I have such high standards on myself because I'm in this field and everything I consume is related to like parenting and our own healing and all of that. So the bar and it's pretty stressful in my own head when it comes to that. But being able to like ground myself that I have these human moments and then also be able to hear it from other clients and sometimes just again reflect like sometimes it's just a really tricky and hard time and that's okay is really nice, right? And I think there is a lot to being able to talk about these things, because one of the biggest, like I'll see a burden being lifted off someone when they're coming in sharing about their child and sharing what's going on and how hard it is to juggle everything with like career and keeping up with all the ins and outs, the daily stuff, that invisible load, and then just to go like, look, you really aren't alone. This happens, these things come up, burnout is natural the way we're going, and a lot of people, when they feel like that kind of problem is normalized, it alleviates this feeling of like you're isolated or you're doing it wrong. There's something wrong with you as a parent. And that piece is really valuable because I feel like we can really access the change when we release some of that like shame or heaviness we carry. I don't know if you notice that with yourself as well, kind of doing so much all the time and then just feeling like, okay, I'm not alone in this. It's a very normal place to
Yeah.
land.
Yeah, absolutely. And shame is so debilitating.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about these cycles. And I hear this a lot, like breaking cycles. What does that actually mean in everyday parenting?
Really breaking the cycle is knowing when the way you're showing up doesn't feel good anymore. I actually think about this word guilt when it comes to it, is oftentimes that's where like the a lot of the families that first come to me are either stuck in a really tricky place, a hard place, or a lot of guilt. And I think there's a lot to pausing and going, where's this guilt coming from? And I think it's when you're really acting out of alignment with how you want to be showing up. And so when we can kind of peel that back and look at maybe why you might be showing up that way, a lot of it is one, survival and just the daily demands, but also because of the way maybe you were modeled how to approach certain situations. And when we're able to slow down and kind of go, okay, I know I've been doing that, but I actually don't really want to be doing that. In fact, I know my child, that's just not what they need. It's not working for them. And being able to catch that and shift and show up in a way that is more comfortable and in alignment with you and meeting your children's needs. And this all looks very different. Every little, I think a lot of puzzles, but every little way these pieces come together is going to look so different for every family. But being able to catch and go, I know I'm just doing X, Y, and Z because that was familiar. Or it was almost autopilot for me, but I don't like it anymore. And I'm going to actively shift the way I'm showing up.
Yeah. Well, because when you really think about it, I mean, I know there are parenting courses and books and lots of resources out there that you can pick up and utilize, but a lot of what we're doing is stuff we've learned through our childhoods, right? Or at least what we gravitate toward naturally. And so it's yeah, like you're saying, like though not everything is going to align. Maybe most of it won't align. It just kind of depends, right? Like who you've become and who your children are and all of these
Hmm.
things. And what does that feel like to know it's out of alignment? Like what could somebody be experiencing or looking for?
I kind of go back to this basic, like, you finally get the kids down and like you're sitting down or falling asleep and you look back on your day and you're just like, what a dumpster fire. That just did not go
Mm,
well, or you're looking around and noticing just it's, you're not happy with the relationship you have maybe with your child, for example, or the type of parent you're showing up as. And it starts with like not a lot of good feelings for the most part. And sometimes it can also, again, in this intergenerational work I do, sometimes it can be like, you going and spending time with extended family and noticing what's happening, how your children are being treated, or you're starting to feel like a little kid again in your parents' home and filling this like role that you grew up in that just doesn't seem right anymore. And you're left with like upset or anger or feeling small again, or like your voice was muted and quieted. It can look so different, but it's really starting to just catch it and go, oh,
mm,
I don't like this at all. And gosh, I love that piece of therapy when we're able to, I always say to my clients, like, I get so excited when they're just in this situation, like, this isn't good. This isn't good. I don't like it. And I'm like, I get excited for you because you're about to springboard and shift. Even though it doesn't feel good right now, these are all just feelings, are just information. We can work with this and we can get you where you'd like to go. Even 1% shifts here and there, they compound over time. And I get so excited where the growth is. And I do. Even when my clients I've been working with for a while, I'm like, let's look back on a year ago. Like, let's take a peek a year ago today, where you were and where you are now. And like, let's send that version of yourself so much love, so much support, because you did that. Like, you got here from that not so good place. So that's my favorite part of therapy,
yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, no, I get it. I had a mentor once who said, and I stick to this and I remember it all the time, breakdowns or breakthroughs.
Yeah.
It's so hard to be in that place, but it's like you're on the cusp of the breakthrough when you're
Mhm.
there. So
Mhm.
I totally get that. What are some common generational patterns people are unintentionally passing down that you notice in your practice or in your own experience?
I think the biggest one is like emotions. So we think about being emotionally reactive a lot of the times, yelling or exploding on our kids, or just showing up in more of not a good headspace, right? Grumpy, things like that, which again, it happens. And, we all have our moods. We're all human. But I think the emotion, so whether it's an extreme, or like, for example, if you had a parent who was really down, maybe struggled with depressive symptoms or some other mental health concerns and just was kind of checked out, right? And there wasn't a lot of room for like you as a kid to take up space. And then growing up, right? And now having your own kids. And it can be really hard to, like, if you are having a bad day, for example, and feeling like you're not in a good mood, or you're really teary, or you want to spend the day in bed, oh gosh, this word guilt, feeling bad that you feel like you want to spend the day in bed, when you remember, hey, I know that's what I had. My parent was always checked out, and I don't want to show up that way for my own kid. But then you're stuck with this heaviness, right? And so there's a lot of just how we show up and what we do with like the thoughts and the feelings that we have, that really can be loud, can be very loud when we look at the trajectory of how we thought we were going to be as a parent and how we're actually showing up, and how just those are so disjointed.
Hmm. So let's take that example a step further. So you're having an off day. You really just need to like lie down or be in a quiet space, but the guilt is really loud, like you said, what would be the ideal way to show up that day?
I'm all about open communication. So if this is like brand new for you, turning to your partner, if you have a partner in the home, or if you have like, your parent in the home, or whomever might be caretaking for the kiddos that day, and just be like, hey, look, I need to check out for a little bit. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling whatever. I need to go close my door, go in my room, and just kind of be left alone for a little while. And if, so you feel like, okay, someone, I'm tagging out, and someone else is going to jump in. And then even with your children, I always say this to anyone I'm working with, just chat with them. Say, hey, honey, I'm not feeling too good today. Not about you, not mad at you, anything like that, right? That can kind of check the box for our children, being concerned that they might absorb some of it. Hey, I'm going to go, I'm not feeling too happy today. It's very normal. I'm going to go take care of myself, because we're also modeling what to do when you have these feelings. Just going to go rest, check out. Daddy's in charge, auntie's in charge, whatever. And then closing your door. And I know it's going to be hard sitting with that, but it's okay. You can sit with that. And the beauty of it, the contradictory thing that I think is this like motto that's really good to have, is like, if you take care of yourself, you are taking care of your children. I know we often feel like, when my kids are happy, I'm happy. And yes, that's true. And when you're happy, when you're stable, when you're, really have this strong foundation under you as like a unique individual, then you can show up so switched on for your kids, and they will feel the safety within that. So I think in the early days, it's really just getting used to it and shifting the relationship we have with taking a break. Because again, going back to that example, if you had a parent who would just go MIA and just like lights off, blinds closed, in bed for weeks on end with no explanation, that feels really unsettling. That feels really scary. So being able just to have open dialogue can be really reassuring for kids too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we try to shield them from a lot of these adult topics,
Mhm.
right? But there's always kind of language, I think, that can be used to explain even the most adult kind of topic, right? Like death,
Mhm.
fill in the blank,
Mhm.
whatever it is. Like we had someone on the show a while back about how to talk to your kids about
Oh
sex.
yeah.
And their recommendation was even to start very early on, but using language
Yeah.
that was like age appropriate,
Yep.
you know?
I
Hmm.
completely agree. We're pretty open in our house. I kind of go off um, the system that if they're asking, like answer it, meet them. And if they keep asking, keep going. So sex is a very good one, because kids will, when they feel like they've kind of gotten enough for whatever that means, they'll check out. They'll change the subject. They'll say, okay, they'll walk away, and that's that. And then they'll come back if they have more questions. And I do think
Yeah.
there's a lot too, right? When we talk about cycle breaking and these intergenerational patterns and dynamics, there was such a reason why it maybe was not discussed, in previous generations and things like that. And even currently, like there are cultural norms and there's just our own stuff, and it's fine and fair. We're all kind of working with what we've got. But I think in all of this, finding what's going to work for everyone involved. It's everyone, and this place of being able to be on this healing journey and showing up a little differently um, is really beautiful. It's a really great way to honor yourself and the home that you're building based on what you want to teach.
Hmm. And I love that you said this because I want to ask you about that. You know, a lot of parenting is, I feel like, healing
Mhm.
ourselves and reparenting ourselves in some ways.
Mhm.
Talk to me about that a little bit.
Man, kids really know how to like hold the mirror to us. It's not
Yes.
just
Yes.
being a parent and making extra sandwiches all day long. I mean, man, it really, we go through the ringer. Um, I think there's a lot to checking in with ourselves too in this whole process and go, why am I getting so upset about this? Like, what is it about, say, the back talk that's bothering me? Is it just the fact that, like, yeah, I'm tired of talking. I've been talking all day. Or is it something deeper? Like, I was never allowed to talk back. I was never allowed to have an opinion. And now my child is doing this. And that's very hard for me to stomach because I was modeled like, absolutely not. And being able to take that and go, okay, well, what do I really think about it? Do I want my children to be able to speak up? And it doesn't mean like on every, like, back talk we can have parameters what that looks like, right? And yelling, okay, name calling, okay. But if my child has thoughts and opinions and wants to verbalize them, there's a lot to going, okay, I know it's good for them. They're their own unique person, but I know it's really hard for me because I was not once ever allowed to have an opinion. That's a beautiful thing that we can do to kind of start to tease out and kind of heal in and of ourselves. And sometimes healing just means dealing with like that discomfort in the moment that your child is doing something almost the opposite of what you were kind of allowed to do, and that there's a lot of beauty in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been very convicted in this space before.
It's very common.
Yeah. Yeah. What about in the heat of a triggering moment? What can we do to sort of just like ground ourselves, not you like lead with emotion? I mean, it's really hard to
So
do.
hard. So hard. Take a pause. Take a pause. Unless it's some serious safety, like imminent, gotta tackle it now, which for most people it's few and far between. But walk away. If your little one, it's time to clean up, and they're like, absolutely not, I'm not cleaning up, and you're like upping the ante, and now you guys are in a feud, just walk away for a second. And I always say, we're going to come back. We will absolutely come back to the cleaning up. That'll get done. You're the parent. Like, we're not letting this be a permissive, do whatever you want kind of household. But when things are escalating and you're no longer kind of in that calm, cool, controlled headspace, walk away. If it's your teenager eye rolling and slamming the door, trust me, you will want to follow them. I get it. But to follow a heated, teenager and you're heated to their room, you guys are just going to get into it more. And I think if we're able to cut that out significantly and just take a moment and go, I will absolutely come back to like the eye rolling and the slamming the door. That's not an appropriate thing. We're not going to like, that's not the norm in our house. But right now, I'm so mad. I'm going to just like go for a brief walk, calm down. I'm going to let my child calm down. And then we're going to reconvene. Hey, let's talk. What was going
Yeah.
on? What was coming up? Do what you need to do. And then say, and we're not going to slam our doors. The eye rolling, I don't appreciate. We need to do better. And we got to clean this up. Let's get to it. And X, Y, and Z, however that looks.
Yeah. It it makes so much
I
sense.
know.
And yet it is so hard in the moment.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, and
It is so hard in the
a
moment.
lot of this stuff, again, the beauty of having your own kids is like, it would be one thing for me to say that, but like I've had to do this in my own parenting journey, just with like we up the ante, and next thing you know, no one's ever watching TV and leaving the house again, and you get no toys, and it just ends up being like this disaster, and everyone's upset, and then you feel bad, and it's just like, look, sometimes that happens. Fine, it's just one of those days. Let it go. But overall, if
Yeah.
you can implement, and I've had to do this, just like, oh yeah, this is one of those moments. This is that moment that I know is going to end up there. And I'm going to be feeling, terrible, like journaling about it later, feeling like the worst mom ever and blah, blah, blah. Just stop, just walk away, reintegrate yourself, try it again. And if it works, keep it up.
Yeah. Okay. I'm definitely going to remember that part of this conversation. What happens if you don't remember? Like if you
Um,
do, and like, how do you repair?
yeah. And that's it. Because you're not going to remember some days, or it's just going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm a therapist. My husband's a therapist. It happens a lot, even with all the tools in our pocket. It's that repair piece. And really that just looks like I always like to say, as soon as you're able to come from that space, so whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's the next day, I don't know, I don't care. Even if it's 10 years from now and you're with your adult child and go like, shoot, there's something been weighing on me. I don't care how long it's been. Just turn towards them. You want to take the ownership, right? Like, hey, I'm sorry for raising my voice at you. The next one is, what's the value, right? We really try not to yell in our house, because again, you're setting the tone. We are raising future adults, and we are raising like kids in our home under an umbrella of what we want it to look like. So if you don't want yelling in your home, then okay, I'm sorry I yelled. That's not how I want to show up as a parent. Also, that's just not how I want to interact in our home. And if there's something you can do, like a third step, like how you'd like to make it teachable or do better, do that. I'm going to be more mindful of taking my pauses. I'm going to be more mindful of walking away. So I want you to know, if we're in the middle of it and I go like, okay, I got to take a break, I'm going to walk away. I love you. I love you so much, but I'm going to walk away. Right. And I think even probably at any age, but even with the little ones, I think there's so much value in reassuring them, like, you know, how much you do love them. Like, look, I was mad at you, or like I was angry and I raised my voice, but I really want to reassure you, I love you no matter what. And I know that seems so obvious, but there's something about it that like helps kids a lot, like even if you are angry, you can reconfirm that like, hey, my love is still there. Again, I know it seems really obvious, but kids really latch on to it. And so being able to just take that responsibility. And oh, another thing I want to say is, this isn't the time, like in that apology moment, that's not the time to say, okay, now you did this, you did that, you made me mad, right? Doesn't mean you don't need to get to their behavior as well. But if you're leaning in for repair, let's keep that a repair moment. And I'm not saying there's a specific time frame. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Now talk to them about their behavior, anything like that. Feel how it feels. But you want to do it without contingencies. Not, I'm sorry I yelled, but you really made me mad. That's not taking full ownership.
So good. So good, Ashley. 'Cause I feel like we've had those moments and messed them up
It,
because of that.
it
Yeah.
happens.
So, yeah, thank you for teaching us that.
Never too late, though, to keep going. I mean, these are ever evolving, and you can shift anytime you want. And there's a
Some
lot.
apologies have gone better than others.
Very true.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to move on to our lightning round now, where I'm going to ask you some fun, random personal questions so our listeners can get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right. What is one app you just cannot live without?
My calendar app. I have it synced with my husband's, synced with my own client sessions, all of that. And we use it a lot. I mean, every Sunday we sit down and we look at the week ahead. What's Monday look like? Tuesday look like? What do you have going on? What time are you off? Are you going to be around for dinner? And we update our calendars, and we know what's going on, so we can, because we take a very equal like household and raising kids, child rearing, all of that. So it really just makes it a lot easier to plan day to day, and I love predictability and routine and knowing what to expect. If I'm really busy, I, don't procrastinate. So if I know I've got a birthday party coming up, but we have like 5 things going on that week, I'll order the gift today rather than running out same day. Little things like that. So calendar absolutely helps us stay on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your guilty pleasure TV show?
I'm all over the place with TV. Okay, I just finished binge watching Peaky Blinders.
I couldn't get into that show. Ugh, I tried years ago, but maybe I should give it another try.
I totally understand. It's hit or miss. I also like Schitt's Creek for like lightness,
Yes.
but
Yes.
I love, there's something about a good drama and kind of that crime. I just really love it.
Yeah. I mean, I heard amazing things about it. Maybe I wasn't in the right headspace to watch it. I don't know.
It's heavy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty, I don't know, dark or something, but it can be a little aggressive. But
Hmm. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
this is so funny. The ability to have like a well-regulated body temperature. I'm always so cold. I have a heating blanket on me right now. My hands are freezing. So if I could just always like be perfectly at the perfect temperature, I'd be so happy. Never too hot, never too cold.
You don't even live in a cold place.
No.
This is so funny.
No, okay. So I live in Houston and it's so humid. And when we moved here, everyone was like, it's so hot. And I'm like, I love it. I feel like I'm on vacation. Like it's balmy. I
Yeah.
can sit out late in the evening. I don't know. I should probably get something checked, some levels checked, but that would be my superpower.
Okay. Love it. Love it. All right. Last question. It's a very serious one. Are you ready for this one?
Very serious. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Nail salon, hair salon, or spa. You can only pick one to visit for the rest of your life. Which one is it?
Professional masseuse. I would have a live-in masseuse. If I won the lottery, I would tell no one, but you would know because I would have a masseuse.
There will be signs.
There will be signs.
There will be signs.
I do my own nails. I do all that stuff myself, but I love a really, really good massage, and I could probably get one easily a couple times a week.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to massage yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ashley, tell our listeners where they can find you, connect with you, work with you, all the things.
Yeah. So I have my website, The Modern Parent 247. That's where you can find my therapy services to work individually, couples and families. I am licensed in California and Texas, so I can see residents of those 2 states, but I'm also an accredited parenting coach for 10 years through the Positive Parenting Program, which is a globally recognized program. So I can actually work with any parents really anywhere. So you can find that on my website to schedule a session. I'm also on Instagram and pretty active there. So The Modern Parent. So I share a lot of skits and intergenerational patterns and dynamics. So you can follow me there for short form content.
Yeah, I love those skits. I binged them the other day. I think they're so fun. Thank you for making them.
Of course. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here, Ashley. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I love the chat.